All right, here we are. 1212 in the place to be. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing out there? Frank Red with you live for another edition of the Dungeon program. And I want to thank you off the top for joining me on this particular show. A lot to talk about. This is the start of NBA free agency, and we're just getting warm. As my man LL Cool J once said. A lot of interesting things to talk about, to assess, particularly in the Bay Area, where it appears that an all-time great future Hall of Famer and Klay Thompson will be taking his show on the road. And we'll talk about some of the likely destinations for Klay Thompson as we evolve in the program. But I have to kind of keep my head on a swivel, because at any moment a signing can come through in which I'm talking about something that has actually happened. So keep me abreast if I miss something throughout the program. But it's kind of sad, it's kind of melancholy, it's kind of disappointing to me that Klay Thompson is probably not going to end his career as a Golden State Warrior. And I understand that this is a different NBA, one that the players kind of should have seen coming. During the last CBA, the owners were making moves in anticipation for the next TV contract to position themselves in a more fruitful life where they were going to make more money. Now, when you throw out the dollars that the players are signing for, nobody's crying for them. They're making a ton of money. But this is out of space money at this particular time. The NBA literally is going to 2.5 times, they're going to increase their revenue 2.5 times of the current deal. I think it's like 33 million now. They're going to get at least 75 billion. And they have a salary cap that is not so far removed from the current CBA contract. So as the revenue increases, the players' salaries are being limited. And you can argue that they needed this process to stop teams like the Warriors from being good. High market teams. Now, I get that some small market teams want to feel that they have a chance to win a championship. I get that. So I don't know all the ins and outs of the rules, but it appears to me that if an organization is making X amount of dollars and they're comfortable paying their players X amount of dollars because of the success that they had, they should not be penalized by that. But that's not the current NBA. So on one end, you look at the Warriors and you say, yeah, they have a job to do. Joe Lacob has gone over the apron, played a penalty numerous times, but he put his foot down and said, we're not going to do that this year. I get it. In the same breath, Klay Thompson, to me, literally had to be beat down to rationalize paying him half the salary that he made last year, less than half. And I don't think that's right. But I'm looking at it from a player's perspective, and I'm also looking at it just logically. But I think sometimes people have a fantasy basketball, fantasy football type mentality when looking at sports. I don't do that. I don't play fantasy sports. So There are real emotions attached to these players' lives and these owners' lives. I'm not saying they don't care. At the end of the day, when decisions are made, you have to go with it. And when you look at Klay Thompson, the likely location for him will probably be Dallas. I think that's the best fit for him. He'll go to a good team that can obviously challenge for a Western Conference championship. Maybe another opportunity to make it to the NBA Finals and possibly win it. So you have to be happy for Klay from that perspective. As much as he might want to go for the Lakers, as much as his dad, I think, wants him to be a part of the Lakers organization, money talks and bullshit runs a marathon, all right? The Lakers simply don't have the money. Unless they're going to be able to trade D'Angelo Russell, and that I can't see that happening. Can't see that. If you're listening for the first time, my name is Frank Red. How y'all doing out there? It's a pleasure and an honor to engage in conversation with you. The name of the program is called the In the Dungeon Show. After you give it a listen, if you like it, hit the like button, subscribe to the program. We're trying to run the numbers up. We don't go overboard, but like everybody else, we do want to expose what we do to as many people as we possibly can. You can hit me up at Big Frank Red on X. I love to engage in conversation about sports, but there are intersections between sports and life, and things come up that I like to comment on as well. Movies. I went to the movies this weekend, and I'll give a comment on the latest in the series of A Quiet Place. I'm going to kill her name, but I'm going to give it a good try. Nikita Nlongo. She is the star of this particular movie, and I'll comment at the end of the program. So this is NBA free agency. If you want to talk about any of the signings that have already happened, I got you covered. If you have any questions, feel free to make your points heard in the comment section. If you want to introduce a comment or a topic, you can do that as well. Beyond that, I'll give you some of the highlights of what I think is important, and we'll go from there. First and foremost, beyond Klay Thompson, Paul George. I never thought that Paul George would leave Los Angeles, particularly the Clippers, when you consider that they got a brand new building. He's from LA. One of the things that has brought him great joy is having his parents leave their home and drive downtown to Crypto, and ultimately to this new arena. You would think that they would have loved to have watched him play. Now, Paul George has been steadfast on the fact that he wanted a 4-year deal from the Clippers. They have been adamant that they were not going to give it to him. They got Kawhi Leonard to sign for less than the maximum, and they got Kawhi for the number of years that they wanted to sign him for, 3 years as opposed to 4. Paul George says, I want 4 years for $212 million. Now, you're asking yourself, what is $60 million worth? I have no idea. But these players they're corporations now. And they've learned a lot from their working partners, the owners. The owners look at business as business. No emotion. No emotion. If you go to grad school and you're learning negotiating tactics, focus on what's most important, which is the bottom line. And the players are starting to acquire some of those skills and do the same thing. Carmelo Anthony has an excellent podcast, 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, I think it's called. And Melo was talking to Andre Iguodala in the most recent episode. And Melo was basically commenting that players don't come into the league with the talent and the skill set to negotiate. He goes, but we're learning now. And as an elder statesman who has made a lot of money in the NBA, Melo has talked about how he wants to help these young players see the big picture. And it's working. It's happening. Previous years ago, remember when Latrell Sprewell turned down $21 million? And he said, I need to feed my family. When the owner basically offered him $21 million, he didn't want to do that. These players today in the NBA, one of the things that I'm really happy and proud of, with the exception of a few players, all of these players are picking up their player options. They're not leaving any money on the table. There was a zero chance that D'Angelo Russell was going to opt out of his deal and walk away from $19 million. That would have been catastrophic for him financially. It would have been easy for the Lakers because they could have done what they wanted to do, which is go out and sign Clay or sign another player to complement LeBron and Anthony Davis. But D'Angelo Russell's like, yo, I can't wait to play for JJ Redick. Yeah, right. You know, but he did not walk away from $19 million. I give him a lot of credit for that. Caldwell Pope, on the other hand, Caldwell Pope and Klay Thompson are the two prime two guards who are free agent. And I'm happy for Caldwell Pope. I mean, watching him in the playoffs against Ant-Man, I was like, dude's lost more than a step. And I think the Denver Nuggets probably looked at him and was like, yeah, we want you back, but we're going to have to negotiate this price. Caldwell Pope is like, yo, I'm from Atlanta. I'm 31. I guess he's 31 years old. I'm going to get this bag. So he's going to sign a 3-year deal for $66 million with the Orlando Magic. That was the right move to make. Two-time NBA champion, Orlando, for 3 years at $66 million. I'll take that. I'm not mad at that. So Caldwell Pope is going to be moving on, and by subtraction, this hurts Denver, and it actually helps everybody else. It really does in the Western Conference. It's going to be wide open. I don't think that there's one team in the Western Conference that you can say definitively is the best. Even with Paul George leaving the Clippers, that's not going to help them. Now, they got some options out there. They could potentially reach out to DeMar DeRozan. He's going to score wherever he is. If he's in Chicago, if he's in LA, it doesn't matter. He's going to put some buckets. He's going to get some buckets. But he doesn't help them defensively. He doesn't help them against the top tier teams. To me, if I'm looking at the West right now, at the start of free agency, if the Dallas Mavericks can sign Klay Thompson, I think that they're number one to me. You got to think that Ja Morant and Memphis is going to ascend and be one of the top teams as well. But the continuity that Dallas has, to me, puts them at the top. The Lakers, I think, will be good, but they need to get some more players also. Now, Golden State Warrior fans, if you want to vent, if you want to applaud the Warriors, this is your place. I think there's a reason why Bob Myers wanted to get the hell out of there. You know, he must be a great dancer, because that dude seemingly has perfect timing. He left the Warriors after winning 4 championships, you know, gets a job with the casino, doing interviews, gets a nice cushy job with ESPN, and oh, by the way, he's part of a group recruiting head coaches for NFL teams. I wouldn't want to be the general manager in the Golden State Warriors organization right now. Mike Dunleavy Jr. is going to get it. First and foremost, if you were grading Mike Dunleavy Jr. right now, and I'm not one of these hot take guys, I want to bash the guy. No, that's not what I'm doing here. What I am saying is, this is a hard job. He got a very hard job. They came out of the draft at the 55th pick, and they drafted Quentin Post, a center out of BC. Now, I was on with Larry Kruger a couple of days ago, and we talked about this young man. He's 7 foot, not real athletic. He can shoot the 3. He's physical. I'm not saying that he can't be a decent NBA player. I'm not saying that. But he's not the exciting pick, you know, that I think Warrior fans were hoping that they would see. The Chris Paul Nugget $30 million contract deal, I'm not saying that was easy to pull off, but I think it was really about relationships. I think Chris Paul, I don't know if he'll be sending Mike Dunleavy Jr. any Christmas cards anytime soon. Now, Chris Paul rallied and he signed for $11 million with San Antonio, and he's made $1 gazillion. So again, nobody's going to feel sorry for Chris Paul. But there was a deal on the table, apparently. The Chicago Bulls would literally mow your lawn for 10 years straight, every month, to get rid of Zach LaVine. They offered Zach LaVine to the Warriors for Chris Paul and Andrew Wiggins. Now, I don't know how much money Zach LaVine has on his contract. I'm sure it's a lot. And I'm not saying that was the deal that they should have made, the Warriors. But if you're Chris Paul, going back to Chicago to play with Billy Donovan, again, they had great success in OKC, and having your $30 million contract guaranteed, you have to be pissed when the Warriors walked away from that. Maybe it would turn out to be a sound move by the Warriors, but I'm waiting. I think Josh Green name has been banty about with some type of sign and trade with the Dallas Mavericks. Josh Green's a pretty good player. He's a decent young player. I think he'd be a good addition for the Warriors if they could get him. Is he ready to be the starter that Klay Thompson has been over the past decade? I don't think so. But he's a nice player. And there might be some other nuggets attached to that. I really don't know. So, just to get us started, there's a couple of things. I got plenty more out there to introduce. My name is Frank Red. What's up, everybody? And this is Today in the Dungeon Show. Hit me up at Big Frank Red. Hit the like button and subscribe to the program if you like what you hear. Let's get the show started. I'm going to talk to my man Keys. And Keys says, "What's up, Frank? I think Klay played himself by not picking up a basketball all last offseason. Warriors gave him more than a fair offer. And then he don't work his ass off last offseason. That's what's happening." Okay. They had to start pods over him for a while because he was so bad at the start. Okay. You can assume that last offseason Klay didn't pick a basketball up. I don't know that. I mean, you might be right. You are correct in that he had a terrible start to the season. Couldn't make a shot. All right? But when you look at Klay's season in its totality last year, I would give him a solid B. This is a guy who averaged 19.5 points, shot 40% from three-point range, and shot 45% in the second half of last year after the All-Star break. So I'm not saying that you're wrong about the start of the season, because you're actually right. But this idea that Klay Thompson is not a member of the Warriors because he's a bad player is absurd. Why do you think these teams are willing? I mean, listen, do you think that Klay Thompson could not have gotten the contract that Orlando's giving Caldwell Pope? 3 years, $66 million? Klay could have got that. But Orlando was like, listen, Klay, what you gonna do, Klay? We want you. And he was like, oh, well, you know, we're still talking. And they were like, yo, we gotta go, dude. We're gonna get a two-time NBA champion in Caldwell Pope who is dying to be here, who's dying to mentor our young players. That's the market for Klay Thompson. 3 years, $66 million. The Warriors are like, we're not giving. Do you think Caldwell Pope is a better player than Klay Thompson? I don't. I don't think he is. I think he's comparable. But do I think that he's a better player than Klay Thompson? No. Based on how Caldwell Pope was getting ate up by Ant-Man in the playoffs. Now, Ant-Man could possibly do that to anybody. So it's not an indictment on Caldwell Pope. But he didn't look great in the playoffs. Now you go, well, Klay was 0 for 10 against Sac or whatever. I don't care. When I look at players, I look at them in the totality of the season. Klay Thompson was pretty damn good, which is why teams want him. I just want that to be out there. Klay had a terrible start last year. The other thing I want to say is, listen, I have never, and I will never root against a player. But this Brandon Podzinski Lifetime movie, it's going to have a scary ending, okay? Unless they go out and they get somebody else. I'm like, tell me what you've seen from Pods that makes you think he can go from having a good rookie year to starting in his second year. Help me out. I mean, I'm not even quite sure that he is a solid backup point guard. I think the Warriors need backup point guard help. I mean, what am I missing? Help me out. Because I think I'm an excellent talent evaluator. Do I think he has potential? Yes. Yes. Can he get better? Absolutely yes. Is he a better player than Dante DiVincenzo? Not to me. DJ Vinus. Yo, Frank, what's up? You think Klay really will be gone? Any chance he'll stay? I mean, the Warriors basically came out, I guess, late this afternoon and said that they could not reach an agreement with Klay Thompson. That's pretty definitive. And I think that they have are transitioning now to doing some type of sign and trade to the point where they can get some pieces back. One of the things that you don't want to do as a player and as an organization is you don't want to burn bridges and kill relationships. So when you got these organizations who are diligently working to build their teams for next year, and then there's a chance of you pulling the rug under their feet, you don't want to do that. So I think when you get to that line of demarcation, you're either going to cross it or you're not going to cross it. It appears that the Warriors have crossed that line. And I think it's a matter now of what are we going to do to replace Clay? All of the fans out there, we'll slide Brandon Podzinski, into the starting lineup. Really? Maybe they think that Moses Moody is ready for a tremendous jump, and he can take upon more responsibility. Maybe they think they have something in Leaky Waters, the third, a player that they acquired from OKC on draft day. I don't know. I just know that I'm not excited right now looking at the two guard position and not having Klay Thompson in there. I also think that not having Chris Paul on the team is that's a big loss, man. That is a big loss. I don't think fans really understand that. And ESPN sometimes they tell horrible stories. Like they were talking about how the Warriors waived Chris Paul, and then they say, well, he only averaged 9 points and 6 assists last year. Yeah, he played half the amount of time that he normally plays as a starter. And I'm not saying that he should start as a 39-year-old player, but that dude played some good basketball last year. SG, what's up? Where are you, brother? Frank, do you like a starting five of Curry, Wiggins, Kuminga, Green, and Jackson Davis? Because that's what we're looking at. Ooh. Again, I don't like the two guard. I don't. Ooh. I mean, this team is predicated on shooting. Draymond's not a shooter. Jackson Davis is not a shooter. Wiggins is not a shooter. Kuminga's not a shooter. They got one shooter. Wiggins can make shots. Kuminga can make shots. I want to see Kuminga just going to the basket. That's why I think Clay was such a important piece, because forget about the start of last year. If you just focus on what he did in the second half, Clay put together some games last year that was pretty impressive. I'm not saying that he was the same player, because he wasn't, but he was pretty damn good. Yeah, you got to get me a two guard. You got to get me somebody that I can believe in. Now, Josh Green, if they do a signing trade, if the Dallas Mavericks do a signing trade with the Warriors, maybe they send out Clay and they get something back that's tangible, then, I'll take a look at it. But aesthetically right now, Stephen Curry's going to have two people guarding him every game. And in this particular offseason, what we wanted to do was to make sure that that was not going to happen. I actually think that I'm not a major fan of Zach LaVine. I'm not. But money aside, because he has a bad contract, Chicago wanted to get away from Zach LaVine's contract. Zach LaVine is a talent. Now, if you lose Klay Thompson and you got Zach LaVine, now Zach LaVine needs to learn how to play basketball in the Warriors style. But he would average 20 points a game. Now that's a pipe dream. That's not happening now. But theoretically, The Warriors could have very easily had Zach LaVine without giving up Kuminga. Chris Paul and Andrew Wiggins probably would have got it done. If Chicago would have asked for a first-round pick, I would not have done it. Windocious. What's up, Frank? Do you think of the trade the Warriors apparently turned down? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about that right now. I don't know how much money Zach has left on his deal. I don't know. I don't know what position I would have put the Warriors in financially, but I think that was a big stickler. And I get it. He's been injured a lot. I don't know if you can share the responsibility in case somebody gets hurt. I don't think so. I think once these deals are constituted, buyers beware. I think you're responsible for the contract once you have it. And maybe that was the stickler. Maybe that was the thing. So logically, I can't necessarily bash the Warriors for saying no. The guy's been hurt a lot. But he's a good player. When he plays, he's very talented. And I think he would have helped Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry right now is not happy about the prospects of not playing with Klay Thompson. Beyond the emotional attachment, there's some basketball-related things that I'm sure he's not real happy about. The Warriors got to get a player. Key says, I hear the Warriors got a mid-level exception, $12 million, and a mini-level $5 million. There has got to be a couple of good rotation players we can sign. Yeah, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that the Warriors are going to sign players, that are probably serviceable and decent. But the Warriors' mentality is to fight for a championship. Now, their offense, again, is a non-conventional offense. It's predicated on shooting, passing, cutting, and shooting. And again, you want to bash Klay Thompson? Go ahead and bash him. Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. Do you think Brandon Podzinski could put up those numbers as a starter? I'm just a basketball fan. I'm just a talent evaluator. I'm just somebody who coaches, who understands how you run offenses. You know how good a player Klay Thompson is? Real good. If the Lakers had cap space, listen, if D'Angelo Russell had opted out of his deal, Klay Thompson would be on the Lakers. Like yesterday. That's how good a are you kidding me? LeBron James, are you kidding me? You know how good Klay Thompson would be on the Lakers? Let me get my Kevin Hart voice. You're going to learn today. Y'all going to learn today. Hey, Keys, you're going to learn today. Moody can take over for Klay. Okay, that's nice. Now, I am a big Moody fan. Unless Moody has worked on his release, you could literally have lunch, before Moody releases his shot. He does not have a quick release. And that is going to be problematic for him. Now, can he work on it? Yes, he can. But he doesn't have a quick release. He's not really a great ball handler. Neither is Klay. But Klay's, listen, in the history of the game, I don't know if anybody had a quicker release than Klay Thompson. I mean, literally a second. Catch and shoot. I mean, Warrior fans, I feel for you because it's going to be different next year. I'm not going to say it's going to be horrible. It's not going to be horrible. They got good players. And I'm excited about Kuminga. You know, I'm sure when a lot of these organizations call the Warriors about trades, Kuminga's name's at the top of the list. He puts the best workout takes out on the internet. Looks like he's working his tail off. I can't wait to see this guy because I always go back to, and this is the closest thing that I will get to analytics. I always ask the question, where would he be drafted now? If said player was thrown back into the NBA draft, where would he be drafted now? Jonathan Kuminga was drafted 7th in 2021. You know what Jonathan Kuminga would be drafted now? Top 3, 1, 2, or 3. That's where he would be drafted. This is a really, really talented player who should, in his 4th year, emerge as a guy, you know, who could have averaged 18 points a game, 6, 7 rebounds, you know, maybe 3 assists, play great defense. The Warriors got something in Jonathan Kuminga. They do, which is why I'm like, tinkering around the edges to me would have been fine, bringing Clay back. But Laker, and I can't blame him, said, you know what? We're not going to pay any luxury tax. And guess what? The Warriors are not paying any luxury tax. I get it. But this is a big loss. Maybe the blow will be softened a little bit. If they can get some players back that's decent. Josh Green, he's okay. Good young player. Andrew the GOAT says, sad day for the Warriors. I think so. Is it too early to start the Mike Dunleavy HT doublation? You know, I've been watching Mike Dunleavy Jr. For a long period of time, and I rarely see the guy smile. You know, he always has like a stoic, solemn look on his face, and his career was kind of up and down. He had some good moments. He had some moments that were not great, and I'm picturing him now as a general manager going, you know what? I was doing just fine evaluating talent, traveling around the world, finding diamonds for the Warriors. Did I really have to be a general manager? This is not easy because owners never get blamed. That's one thing we know. They never get blamed. And I'm being facetious when I'm saying this because who wouldn't want to be a general manager? His dad was a general manager. You know, he's a smart guy. The one question that I had about Mike Dunleavy Jr., and I talked to Larry Kruger about this, it's relationships. He doesn't strike me as a guy who has those relationships. Bob Myers was perfect. Bob Myers was one of the most successful agents in the game before he became a general manager. Highly successful individually. And he was part of a Tellum's group, I believe. So allies everywhere. Getting Kevin Durant to come to the Warriors was not a one-man show. That's all relationships. Bob Myers could do things that most general managers can't do. So, in terms of intelligence, I'm sure Dunleavy Jr. is fine. But it's the relationship piece. Like, I'm shocked that they couldn't get some team to pick up that Chris Paul contract. I'm shocked. Because that's all. I mean, listen. If you can write off $70 million for Monty Williams, you can't pick up Chris Paul's contract? Really? Come on. Come on. It's all relationships. So, we're going to find out in days and weeks what Dunleavy Jr. does. But that's the big question that I have. Did he have the relationships, or does he have the relationships to get things done? Like a Popovich. I'm not comparing him to Popovich, but Pop got lieutenants all over the NBA. Go back to the draft. The San Antonio Spurs drafted Robert Dillingham. Now, they recognize that he was a nice talent at number 8, but he really doesn't fit into San Antonio's philosophy, their scheme, what they want to do. He doesn't fit. So what happened? Somehow, some way, the Spurs and the Timberwolves got together and they did a deal. They did a deal. Minnesota gets a good, young, talented point guard that San Antonio did not want. And essentially, Minnesota gave San Antonio a couple of first-round draft picks in 2030 and 31. Really? Does any of us know what the hell we're going to be doing in 2030 and 2031? Huh? No. I mean, I hope all of us are alive at that point, but I don't know if we will be. But that's the deal. That's Popovich doing Popovich things. I thought the Warriors were going to get Curry help this offseason. Yes. Yeah, I thought so too. Moody only shot 36 from 3, Frank. My bad. You're right. He can't start for us. Well, he might have to start for you, but I think they're gonna start pods. I mean, listen, man. Again, some people are very proud and they pat themselves on the back because they're haters, because they look at things from a negative perspective. I don't. There are people right now that probably don't tune into this show because they want to come in with a negative take, and I'm like, no, I don't want that. I don't like if you can defend your thesis, if it's negative, that's fine. But if you come in with a negative take and you don't have a sensible explanation to support it, then no, I don't want to hear you. This love affair with Brandon Podzinski, I don't understand it. Hopefully I will understand it over a period of time. But man, I'm a talent evaluator. And I mean, he looks like a backup to me. Key says, I'm sorry, I did that already. The Warriors are going to be in last place again this year. No, they're not. You got Stephen Curry, you got Draymond Green, you got Hall of Fame coach, you got Wiggins, you got Kuminga. This is not a bad team, Warriors. Come on. Warrior fans, this is not a bad team. I can't believe the Warriors haven't done anything. Okay, is that what you mean? If the goal of the Warriors was, to challenge for, play-in, 8th seed, 7th, everything would be cool. Now, like I said before, less is more. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope leaving Denver, that helps everybody. Because you think Denver's as good as they were last year without Kentavious? I mean, yo, I like Christian Braun. You think Christian Braun's ready to be a starter next year and put numbers on the board? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Is he a good player? Yes. Is he ready for that? I don't think so. You know, you think the Clippers are going to be good? Are going to be as good without Paul George? I don't think so. Explain that one to me. What I think with the Clippers happened was this. And I have no intel. I think the Clippers said to Kawhi, you take 3 years. We will not give a 4-year contract to anybody on this team, and no one on this team will make more money than you. If that happened, that was disastrous. But I think that happened because it makes too much sense to give Paul George the 4th year. The Lakers are giving LeBron James a 3-year deal. He's 40. Paul George is 34. What gives? Logically, it makes 0 sense. And maybe it'll come out in one of these, these Hulu documentaries years down the road. Somebody screwed that one up because I don't think that they feel they can renege now and go back. If that was the case, if this actually happened, then they can't renege and go back and break the promise that they might have made. Because I mean, can someone write me, comment, and tell me why, and make a good argument why you wouldn't give Paul George a 4-year deal? He's not the one that's hurt all the time. He plays. The Warriors were going to give Paul George a 4-year deal. But like I said, Steve Ballmer was like, I'm not getting punked by the Warriors. If you're not signed with the Clippers, do you think I'm going to help you go to the Warriors? Please. Go to Philly. Go to Orlando. Go somewhere else. But you're not coming to my new arena with Golden State Warrior colors on. Andrew the Goat says, free Curry. Well, it's going to be interesting at that USA practice when Kerr and Steph are looking at each other. I guess the Warriors are okay for being a bad team this year. No, they're not going to be bad, Andrew. I want you to stop. You're not going to be bad. They won't be bad. Chris Paul to Spurs, how do you like this move? I love it. I love it. Chris Paul, listen. Chris Paul is worth at least 5 or 6 wins. At least. And here's some irony. Chris Paul wanted to be, in the best case scenario, he wanted to be in LA. That wasn't going to happen. Chris Paul clearly likes money. So he would have went to Chicago for $30 million. But I think he's going to go to San Antonio and fall in love with that community. And it wouldn't surprise me if Chris Paul wasn't a candidate to be the successor to Popovich. As new as he is to that organization, I think so highly of Chris Paul as a basketball scientist. And I think he's going to be a home run in San Antonio. I think that Wemby's going to get better with Chris Paul being a part of that organization. And time will tell. Now, Chris Paul, this dude is a walking conglomerate. So he has so many irons in the fire and so many resources. So maybe coaching is not something that he can do, just from a time perspective. But it wouldn't surprise me if he's not viewed differently after spending time in San Antonio. I love it. I think that is a phenomenal move for the Spurs. The Warriors are really going to waste another year of Curry's prime. He's about to be 37. What is wrong with this organization? Now, Andrew, we hear it a lot, right? But it's not true. It's false. And you know, they're trying to keep people balanced, sell tickets. Stephen Curry's not in his prime. 37 in his prime for two? No. Did you see Stephen Curry last year? Past 34 minutes, 35 minutes. Some of the turnovers that he made last year, you can only explain that, this dude was just so exhausted that, he couldn't focus. So, I don't like when people say that. He's not in his prime. He's not in his prime. He's still a very good player. Still very good. But he's not in his prime. And his responsibility to the Warriors next year should be less, not more. SG, you asked me at the beginning of the show how I'm doing. I'm doing fine, man. How are you doing? I'm pretty mad about what the Warriors are doing to Curry. Okay, that's fair. I'm very disappointed in Mike and the whole front office this offseason. They're not off to a good start. Call it the Klay Thompson effect. They're not off to a great start. How good are the Rockets? And do you believe they're better than us? The Rockets are really good. Man, they're good. They got better personnel. Yeah, they got better personnel. They do. The one player in this draft that if I owned a house, I would bet my house on is Reed Sheppard. I love Reed Sheppard. This dude, I watched him like 3 or 4 times at Kentucky, and it's unfortunate that he ran into Robbie Benson in the opening round of the NCAA playoffs, or he ran into Danny Ainge at Brigham Young in the opening round. The kid from Detroit, from Oakland University, who just signed with OKC. Listen, there is not one phase of the game that Reed Sheppard does not do well. His mid-range is crazy. He can shoot the long ball. He can get to the cup. He got a 40-inch vertical. He's totally unselfish. The only thing that Reed Sheppard is going to have to make an adjustment with, kind of like Caitlin Clark, he's not the strongest guy. He's not. So he's going to get muscled a lot, I think, early on. And they listed him at 6'3". I'm not quite sure he's 6'3". So that might be another challenge that he has. But just as a basketball player, what a beautiful basketball player. Ime Udoka is, he leans more defense in an offensive world. So I think that Houston has to kind of figure that out. I think a lot of Houston's success is going to be dependent upon whether or not Steve Adams can give them a contribution. Because if he can play, he's going to anchor that second unit. Houston's good. Houston should be one of the top 6 teams in the Western Conference. Pretty good analogy. The Warriors are doing what the Lakers did to Kobe Bryant. Andrew, to go. It's certainly not malicious. I don't think that they want to not do well. It's hard. It's hard making deals. People don't want you to be good when you won 4 championships. But we knew this. We all knew this. So we knew the assignment. Mike Dunleavy Jr. knew the assignment. So, I'm not surprised that they are not crushing it. I thought they'd do better than they've done thus far. Even in the draft, I mean, Quinn Post. I'm not going to kill this guy, but not exciting. Not the exciting Trace Jackson Davis acquisition that we saw last year. Everybody and their mother knew Trace Jackson Davis should have been in the first round last year. Everybody knew that. Andrew, you're funny. The Warriors finally got a 7-footer. Yeah! I suggested they go out and get Andre Drummond, who signed for 2 years, $10 million with Philly. I knew Andrew Drummond was going to get some money. I knew that. Since the Warriors need to get a new staff, what do you think would be some good coaching staff for the Warriors? I would love to see Nash on the staff as a coach. I don't know if Steve Nash wants to be a coach. It was kind of nice, to kind of work with guys individually in practice. And then somebody tap you on the shoulder and say, "Hey, Steve, you want to be a head coach?" Oh yeah, sure. I'm ready. I've never coached before in my life. But why don't you? I'll become the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah. I would love to see Steve Nash on Steve Kerr's staff. I think he could learn a lot. I think his innovation, his mind could help this team, particularly a guy like Podziemski, even Stephen Curry. Yeah, that's a good answer by me. I'm going to pat myself on the back. Steve Nash, I'd love to see him on the staff. The West is so stacked, and young Warriors in big trouble. Man. Now, here's the thing that we're not talking about. You got to expect Gary Payton Jr., or Gary Payton III, Jr., I think he's the third. You got to expect him to play about 70 games next year. It's a contract year, right? And he knows that he needs to have a big year to get another contract. So I'm kind of wondering what type of impact he's going to have on the team. I expect it to be a lot more positive next year than it was this year. So, the Warriors are making the playoffs. Now you might not consider the play-in to be the playoffs. I don't know. But from the Warriors' perspective, if the Warriors save $50 to $100 million this year, and they wound up the same place that they were last year, you think they're going to look at it as a failure? I don't think so. Well, this draft was not that deep this year. People say that, right? I don't buy it. What is a deep draft? I think any time that you can get 10 legitimate players in any draft, that's a good year. And I think this draft probably has 10 to 12 to 13 guys who are going to have successful careers. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. Tristan Da Silva, a forward out of Colorado. Kind of a nondescript type guy, didn't break any records at Colorado. Good player. His brother played at Stanford. This dude is going to be around 6'9", kind of a Josh Powell type guy, but better than Josh Powell. They're players in this draft. I'm going to discount the two French guys, Richichet and Sharp, because I haven't seen those guys play. I mean, I'm not one of these guys like an ESPN guy. I mean, now the guys who go over and actually watch these players play, I give them credit. But some guys are doing evaluations when they watch a tape for 10 minutes. Very quick off the dribble. Has a really good mid-range. I love him. Come on, man. I will only comment on players who I have seen and I have evaluated. If I have evaluated a player, then I'll speak to him. Glenn Dose has wanted to see me smile and wanted me to be happy. Your Knicks are looking good next year. Thoughts on Mikal Bridges? Oh, man. Dude, it's Christmas right now. It's Christmas. It's 1973, B. Right? This is early 90s, Pat Riley. Do you know how good we are? Do you know how good we are? Listen, do you know how rocking the Garden is going to be when the Celtics come to town? And we're lining up Mitchell Robinson. Get that out of here. Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, my guy, Dante DiVincenzo, Jalen Brunson. Come on, man. Hart off the bench. We're going to lose Hartenstein, I think. I think I want to see Hartenstein go to Chicago. I don't know if they can make that happen, but I want to see him go to Chicago to help my boy out. Can you imagine if Chicago gets Hartenstein? Chicago's going to be better next year. They're going to be better. For people who think that OKC won the trade between Caruso and Josh Giddey, I think Chicago won that. Alex Caruso is the best role player, one of the top role players in basketball. Josh Giddey is, I think he's a top 10 point guard in the league. He has some angst and some stuff attached to him that I'm not going to get into, but you all know what it is. He needed a change of scenery. His shot is not great, but that's okay. I think he's going to be a hit in Chicago. And Billy Donovan and his staff knows how to develop players. They know how to develop players. Nobody saw Kobe White coming. Who? Nobody saw Kobe White coming. The Warriors probably asked for Kobe White. The Warriors probably said, what about this guy, Kobe White? An underrated great move also by Chicago was signing Patrick Williams to a 5-year, $90 million deal. This guy has talent. One of the best two-way players in the league. He hasn't developed into what a lot of people thought that he would, but he is a piece, man. Very good player. I hope the Warriors sign a free agent tomorrow. If they do sign the right one. Key says, it's not reality to be contending every year with a strict salary cap. Don't like the NBA screwed us. Yeah. I mean, the NBA is not your friend, Warrior fan. Not that many big men in this year's draft. Yeah, tough. It's tough. But I mean, they probably could have. I mean, could they have signed Drummond? I guess maybe Drummond didn't want to come. He probably wanted to go to Philly. I mean, because the Warriors, I guess, have access. I mean, they're going to have access to some mid-level stuff, mid and full. They're going to sign somebody. The big man the Warriors drafted, he can shoot the three ball. Yeah, you know what? I don't want big guys. If the first thing that someone tells me is that I got a 7-footer who can shoot the three, I'm worried. That's not what I want. You know what I want? I want defense and rebounding. Does he shoot the three better than Moses Moody? Podzinski? You know, this is crazy. Give me a big guy who can play defense and rebound and block shots. You know? Who do you want shooting threes? This guy or Stephen Curry? Draymond Green is not the best three-point shooter, but I love him at the high post running that offense. So the big guy, if Quentin Post can rebound and play defense and be a physical presence, the Warriors will win. My man Ryan says the Warriors are disappointing me right now. I get it, man. I get it. I get it. The biggest thing I think, so the Warriors told Wiggins he can't play in the Olympics, and they haven't traded him, and they have not traded him. If there's one player that you thought would be traded by now, if the Warriors really were interested in trading him, it would have been Wiggins. I think Wiggins has value in the league. I do. His contract is real money, but it's not an albatross. He's still a very talented two-way player. Doesn't always play great, but he's talented. And let's not demean Chris Paul. Even at $30 million, I mean, I would have thought teams would have jumped at the fact to get at Chris Paul to get a serviceable contract. I mean, to get a contract you can use to move and have one of the best backup point guards, basketball minds in the league on your team. I'm shocked that they couldn't find a home for Chris Paul. I mean, I'm sure Chris Paul was pissed. I'm mostly mad about the CP3 deal. We gave up Poole and 2 firsts. Yeah, man. That's a loser as far as I'm concerned. And here's the thing about that. We had an official, a referee, and not that it necessarily means anything, but dude was like, point of fact, Chris Paul's a horrible guy. I can't remember the official who actually had those negative things to say about Chris Paul. He said Chris Paul is a bad guy, right? Now, Chris Paul seemingly was on his best behavior last year. And Chris Paul couldn't stand the Warriors. And the Warriors couldn't stand him. But they made it work. So Chris Paul came in with a business mentality, you know, saying to himself, I'm going to do everything I can do to ingratiate myself within this organization, tutor the young guys, play good basketball, and hopefully they'll do right by me. Because they're not going to pick up my $30 million contract. I'm not saying that the Warriors did not make a sincere effort to find a home for him. I think they probably did. What was equally surprising was they couldn't get it done. San Antonio waited like a millisecond to pick the phone up to sign Chris Paul to an $11 million deal. Why? Because they realize how good he is. Teams in the NBA trade for players and sign players because of relationships every day. You got teams like Detroit right now that have to reach the floor. Somebody's going to get a contract that's 3 times their value because Detroit, maybe, guess what? It might be James Wiseman. Wiseman might be the guy who gets more money than he was expecting to get. Yeah. Just because Detroit has to reach the floor. That's going to be interesting. Ryan says, Mike Dunn is looking like a rookie finally. Everyone hyped him up, but Bob Myers would run laps around him. I do think Mike is good at drafting though. I think it's clear the league also wants the Warriors to fall off. Clippers didn't take a good trade package for Paul George, which ESPN was due to the fact that it was the Warriors. I don't know what the package was necessarily, but I think that, man, owners have egos too, right? Players got egos. Everybody has egos. How do you manage your ego? That's the question. Steve Ballmer did not become who he is losing in negotiations and battles. He has an ego. He was not going to help Paul George go to the Warriors. That wasn't happening. Even if I don't know what the package Chris Paul and Wiggins and Moody. I don't think they were giving up Kuminga. I got a question to ask you guys. It's kind of funny. Alex Len, 7-foot backup center for the Kings. He re-signed with the Kings again for the veteran minimum at $3.3 million. Does he have his favorite In-N-Out burger or something in Sacramento? I mean, this guy could actually play. And every year he signs for the veteran minimum. Does he like to go to Tahoe? What is it? What is it about Sacramento that Alex Len can't remove himself from? I don't understand it. Can he do basic math? If you're the Warriors, you would love to have Alex Len. But this is Alex Len's agent. Hey, Alex, there's a team out there that wants to give you 3 years, $16 million. What do you think? Nah, man. I love Sac. Did you know Sac has an In-N-Out burger? That's my favorite, man. I can't leave that. You ever heard of Tahoe? Have you seen that lake? Nah, man. I'm not going anywhere. Sac forever. Where's that minimum contract? I'm ready to sign right now. I don't get it. I think it's clear the league also wants the Warriors to fall off. Okay. MF says, good show. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. It's fun. It's fun. And I want to give, I want to give Warrior fans a place to not just vent, not feel sorry, but have a discussion because we're smart. This is a smart show. This is a smart show. I also wanted to very quickly, but I wanted to talk about Bronny James and the issue of nepotism and Bronny playing with his dad at the NBA level is historic. It'll be part of the documentary and maybe the full-length feature film down the road and all that stuff. I'm going to say this. Any adult that is upset with Bronny, you're nuts. You know? Now, does his peers have an opportunity, to be upset and pissed off? Yeah, of course. Of course. Because under normal circumstances, he would not have been drafted in the second round. He would not have been drafted, right? People would have laughed at, the audacity of somebody with his numbers telling NBA teams that, no, we're not going to work out for you. We're going to work out for two teams. But this is all that this young man has known his entire life. You know? He doesn't have the same experience that his father has. An only child, the product of a teenage mother. I mean, you heard of helicopter parents? And I don't say anything's wrong with it, but LeBron's family has they got a whole army of helicopters over their children, and they want to protect them, and I get it. But I don't blame the kid at all. And what ultimately is going to happen is he has to get it done on the court, or it's going to be real embarrassing for him. And I don't care who his daddy is. He won't be able to protect him. He's going to have to put that work in. And even putting the work in, it might get to the point where he either has the talent or he doesn't. But Bronny being put in a position where nepotism is being manifested, I don't blame him. And I'm not going to go through the ESPN diatribe and talk about nepotism. We know nepotism is a part of our society. In every industry, nepotism is a factor. We know this. And I thought about this afternoon. I was thinking to myself, you know what? We have to define success for ourselves. Because we come into this world, we don't control everything. We don't. And most of the time, when you have a laser focus on ascending to anything, you're probably going to step on some people. That's kind of how it works. And if it means that much to you, then that's what you will do. But the one thing about basketball, it has nothing to do with ownership, nothing to do with coaching. It's mano a mano when you get on the court. I'm one of the coaches of Pro-Am. And, we're coaching guys now that just, they're not ready for this level of basketball. Where every possession, somebody's ready to kick your butt. You got to compete. Mommy and daddy can't give you that. That has to be inside of you. You got to want it. You got to love this game. We're going to find out. There's so many things that's wrong about Bronny James' game right now that could be corrected. But he's going to have some challenges, man. This is a tough-ass game. That's why I love Reed Sheppard so much. This dude is flawless as a basketball player. And his transition is going to be fine. It's not going to be hard at all. So to have adults out there coming down on Bronny, come on. shake yourself. All right, get over yourself. This is a kid. This is a kid who happens to be the son of one of the best players in the history of the game. Now, I will say this too. I thought about this. Michael Jordan's son, Marcus never suited up for the Charlotte Hornets. Marcus Jordan, was it Jeffrey? It was Jeffrey, I'm sorry. The youngest one was a hell of a player. 6'3", lefty. Jordan's kid could play. Let's not get twisted. He could have very easily sat on Charlotte's bench for 2 or 3 years and maybe developed into a 9th or 10th man. People act like this guy couldn't play. I don't believe he ever suited up for the team that his daddy owned. I think that had a lot to do with Mike. Mike is just so steadfast on, no, the best play. I'm not gonna, no shortcuts. But Jeffrey Jordan could play. That dude was a good basketball player. I know he played in South Florida, or Central Florida, I'm not quite sure, but he was good. He was really good. Different mentality. Brian says, they say the Warriors could sign and trade Clay to the Clippers, Lakers, and Mavs. Who would you want for one of those? Dallas. I think Dallas is the best location. One of the names that has come up is Josh Green, the Australian. I think he's the good young player. I can't think of the kid's name also. Dallas has a guy from, I believe, Milwaukee. He played for Milwaukee last year as a rookie. Didn't play a whole lot this year, but was really good. They have some players at the end of their bench that just were not in the rotation, but are pretty good players. So if they do right by Clay, Clay's going to go to, I think, Dallas. The Clippers, they don't run a very sophisticated offense. I think Clay would struggle there. I think Clay would be great as a Laker, particularly with JJ as the coach and with LeBron running the offense. But they don't have the money. They don't have the money to pay Clay. And whatever allegiance Klay Thompson might have emotionally to the Lakers should be gone as a professional. This dude's won 4 rings. I guess he would love to win another ring as a member of the Lakers. That would be historic. That would be incredible with his father as an analyst on the radio. So, I mean, but if I'm a professional player making a business decision, I'm not giving up crazy money. If you Klay Thompson, would you go from making $43 million to making 13? I wouldn't do that. To a team that might lose again. If I'm Klay Thompson and Dallas puts together a contract that's similar to the one that Caldwell Pope got from Orlando, 3 years, $66 million, I'm jumping on that bandwagon. That's the one I'm jumping on. AB says, "Sup, Frank? Good to see you. Likewise. What's up? How you doing?" LeBron actually opted out so they could pay Clay. It's reported LeBron called Clay, said he would take a pay cut. And his dad tweeted Clay should join. Yeah, of course his dad wants to join the Lakers. Of course. Here's the thing. Bobby Marks was kind of throwing around this alleged LeBron pay cut, $25 million. No. Do the Lakers make less profit? No. Listen, if you don't win a championship, what is the value of $25 million? You know, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. You know, Laker front office, make it work. Use your relationships. Trade D'Angelo Russell. Something, you know. Austin Reeves, trade him. Do whatever you need to do to get Clay some money. And let's go get it. You know, Hachimura, trade him to Detroit or somebody that has cap space. LeBron's not giving up that kind of money. I don't believe that. LeBron's a ring chaser. I could see him taking 35 and Clay take 22. I wouldn't say it's out of the question that giving into LeBron this season as seen by JJ and Bronny. Yeah, I mean, that's more realistic. 35 million. Okay, I get that. And give Clay 22. Again, Caldwell Pope has set the market for Klay Thompson. 3 years, 66 million. Clay would take that because it's more than the Warriors offered. The Warriors didn't want it. Listen, folks. Listen. If the reason why Klay Thompson is not a member of the Warriors is because they didn't want to give him a third year as opposed to a second, I'm pissed. I'm mad as hell if I'm a Warrior fan. I'm a Warrior supporter. I get business. I understand if they're steadfast. But if I'm a fan and I'm paying exorbitant prices to get into the arena, that beautiful mausoleum, and you won't give Clay a third year? What? That's crazy. Isn't that 22? I don't know what that means. Grand Admiral hates the Lakers. I hate the Lakers. Caldwell Pope deal. Yeah, yes, 22. 22 per year. Grand Admiral says, I hate clutch sports. Of course. They work the system better than anybody right now. You think the owners love clutch? I don't think so. I hate the Lakers as well. Same here, Grand. Rich Paul is like Boris. Yeah. Yeah, you know, back in the day, who was Michael Jordan's agent? David Falk. David Falk. They hated David Falk. Are the Clippers out on Clay now that they've signed DJJ? Who's that? Who's DJJ? Hold on, let me see something. Oh, really? They signed Derrick Jones Jr.? Wow. What is his deal for, AB? I didn't see that. What is his deal for? That dude came up. Yeah, for how much money? How much did Derrick Jones Jr. get? That dude turned a pretty... What? Get the money. I am not mad at that. This dude went from not being drafted to just kind of hanging around for about 5 years or so. When he was on Chicago, he was okay. He went to Dallas last year and blew up as a starter. And wow, good for him. So, yeah, the Paul George thing is not happening. They're moving on. You would think DeMar market is 25 if teams have cap space. Now, I think a lot of it's cap space. You know, a lot of good players are being squeezed because teams may or may not have the cap space. I mean, it's the perfect excuse. You know, it's math. It's what it is. Frank, is Kuminga about to get extended, and will it be the max? I think the Warriors would be smart to extend him. Yeah, I think so. Although, because they're going to lean on him this year. The max, I don't know what the max is for that player. He's a $30 million player. So I guess 5 years, $150 million, I guess. I mean, I can't give a player who is still developing more than that. I can't do that. That's a lot of money. But I think he deserves it. Yeah. I would extend Kuminga for 5 years for $150 million. He's clearly one of the cornerstones of the franchise. And, you know, you can, build your team and market around him. Clay, Draymond, these guys not going to be around. You're going to have somebody to promote. I would do it. And I still think he's a good player. I think he's going to average 18, 19 points a game this year. And DeMar DeRozan's market, yeah, I think it's 20 to 25 million, I'm guessing. I would agree with you, AB, for about 2 years, right? 2 years? I agree. Kuminga's agent won't allow him to take less than a max. Well, what is a max? What is the max? Now, here's the thing. If he doesn't like the Warriors contract offer, two things can happen. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I don't know how much money the rookie deal extension is. It'd be interesting to tell me. But a couple of things can happen. He can bet on himself, right? And come back next year, kind of like a Dak Prescott type situation. Or the Warriors can trade him. I think that Jonathan Kuminga is in a great situation. He's one of the few young superstar S type players that the Warriors have who are young. But maybe he got other ideas. Maybe he wants to be in a different part of the country. I have no idea. $30 million a year is nothing to sneeze at. I don't know how much the maximum contract is. I don't know. Grand Admiral says his agent said that, AB. Oh. It's been a tough negotiation. Reason I say that is because Kuminga's agent has been in odds with the Warriors front office for a while now. Okay. I don't know who his agent is, but here's the thing. The more valued the contract is, the more money agents make. All right? If you look at Kuminga, just look at him. He hasn't really done anything yet. He's going to get paid on potential. His ascension has been fine for a player his age with his experience. I expect him to average 18 points a game this year. 18 points a game, 6-7 rebounds, 3 assists. The one thing that I really admire about Jonathan Kuminga is in the summer, I don't think it's staged. I think the dude's in the gym. He puts out the best videos, working his ass off. You don't see those videos from everybody else. You don't. So I got to give him a lot of credit. He deserves to be paid. The Warriors want to lock him in because this new TV deal money is going to be like 1999 all over again. Also, if you have cost security for Kuminga, you can literally go shopping. You get Steph off the books, you get Draymond. You can go shopping. You can start to include better players around him. As these younger players now in the rookie contracts become free agents, you can sign other players. And the other thing is, like, management likes to use this scenario where, we can't pay you more than our best player. Yes, you can. No, we can't. Yes, you can. No, we can't. They like to play that game. So, theoretically, if you can get Kuminga at a number that's manageable, then anybody who comes in here knows that they may or may not be able to make more than that. Now, maybe I just don't get it. And I'm willing to admit that. And I'm going to tell you why. Cade Cunningham today, it was reported that he's going to sign a 5-year, $226 million contract for a team that won 14 games. Is Cade Cunningham better than Jonathan Kuminga? I don't know. His stats are better. If he is better, how much better is Cade Cunningham than Jonathan Kuminga? So I'm saying that I want to pay Kuminga $150 million. That's $76 million less than what Cade Cunningham is making. So we're in a time now where this is Bugs Bunny money. This is crazy. But the system in place says that you got to spend it. The owners and the players split 50-50. There is a floor. Jonathan Kuminga's next contract could be $200 million, which is crazy because he hasn't really established himself yet. The Warriors don't want to pay that. They want to wait. They want to wait till next year to see if he puts up the numbers that I think he's going to put up. I'm going to say 18, 6, 7, and 3. I wanted to also mention the game today, the WNBA game between the Indiana Fever and the Phoenix Mercury. Just a tip of the hat to the Indiana Fever. They won 88-82. And I don't think it's like any get back between Caitlin Clark and Donna Taurasi. It was an excellent game between excellent players. What I've noticed with the Fever is they're more connected. They're playing with more continuity. The Fever teammates have more reverence for Caitlin Clark. She's gone through a transition. She's still going through a transition. But one thing is clear. This young lady can pass her butt off. What a great passer. Unbelievable. 15, 12, and 9. And get on board, because there were 17,000 people in the stands, and this particular game is probably going to break another record. So she's not going to be on the Olympic team, but if they were choosing a team right now, she probably would. Why? Because she's earned her way on the team. She played well enough to be considered to be on the team. Just to put her on the team because she's going to draw in more fans, to me, is an argument made by somebody who's never played before. Because it's hard making teams. You know how many teams people have been cut from? I didn't make my first team until I was a freshman in high school. And you're going to take little Johnny just because his father or his mother donates to the youth organization? That's essentially what we're talking about. So I'm glad they didn't do that. But if Johnny's mother or father or family has money that they want to support the organization and he's a straight baller, that's different. Totally different. So I've been a fan of Caitlin Clark for a long time. You know, start noticing her around her junior year. She is outstanding, but her team is outstanding. The players are playing better. Aaliyah Boston now looks like an all-star. I don't think she was in great shape when the season started, but she's putting numbers up right now. I'm loving the WNBA, loving it. AB, I think you're right. Plenty of teams will be willing to trade for him in a heartbeat and give him the max. I think you're right. Yeah. Frank, have you watched any movies lately? Yeah, I watched the newest iteration of A Quiet Place, starring Lakita Nyong'o, the brilliant. I think she's Nigerian. I'm sorry if I messed that up, but she carried the film. It's like if you've seen The Book of Eli with starring Denzel Washington, it's kind of like The Book of Eli, light, not as good, with creepy monsters. Is how I would describe A Quiet Place. And it's short. I like that. It's only an hour and 40 minutes. So I don't think you need to run to the theater to see it. If you are an avid movie fan like I am, then yeah, go check it out. It's 2 hours that you're not going to feel that you lost, but it's not the best movie I've ever seen in my life. B.D. Smith, what's up? Caitlin Clark was amazing today. She caught they caught every pass today. Yeah. That was my point. Last week, she had 13 assists. She should have had 18. You know, but yeah, you're right. And what does that mean, BD? It means feel. It means that her teammates are becoming more comfortable playing with her, and they're starting to get to know each other. Now, you watch the game, and one of the things that I've noticed is she's still a little shy about engaging defenders going to the basket. She's going to have to change her mentality. But she had a couple of turnovers today when she's anticipating her teammates being open when the defender really hasn't committed yet. So she has to elevate and absorb the contact, get fouled or score and ones, or if she's really afraid, go real fast, come to a jump stop and power up. She's still going to get hit. So she has to become more comfortable with absorbing contact. But what a player. She's awesome. How was the movie? I wanted to see that. Okay. It's okay. Not bad. Yes, it's her name. Lupita Nyong'o is Nigerian and Mexican. All right, thank you for that. Appreciate you. SG. She's a terrific actress. She was outstanding. I mean, they didn't give her a whole lot, and she took what they gave her and really worked it. I mean, she can emote. She can change emotions really quickly. She carried that film. She really did. She made it interesting. Sixers would be dangerous if they could somehow land Clay as well. His attitude would kind of fit in Philly too. Yeah, I think Clay can fit on most winning teams because he's a winner. And Philly has a really good coach. So he's not going to Philly too far. I think Dallas is the place. So and I'm not jumping on the limb, I think a lot of reasonable minds would think that he would be going to Dallas as well. But I'm more interested in what the Warriors get back in return because he's out of here, I guess. Oh, she's Kenyan, not Nigerian? Okay. Two more things I wanted to get in here about. I wanted to, the Brandon Aiyuk deal. It's simple. Larry and I talked about this, and Larry talks a lot about the Niners. My whole thing is this. Brandon Aiyuk has many comps in the NFL, top tier wide receivers. Whatever the guarantee has been for the comparable receivers that he's being compared to, that's it. It's not a hard negotiation. To try to tear him down, to convince him that he's not worth what his comparable peer is getting, I don't like that. And from his standpoint, you're not Jefferson. You don't have to be the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. It's all about the guaranteed money anyway. So I think they're going to get it done, but this exercise, it's so draining. I'm a 49er supporter. I'm not really a 49er fan. I'm a 49er supporter, strong supporter. Ronnie Lott was one of my favorite players growing up as a child. Joe Montana, Steve Young. I love all these guys. But, to see these types of negotiations take place, it's no fun for me. It really isn't. I also wanted to acknowledge, because you guys have been talking about him a lot. You guys know that Cooper Flagg, the incoming freshman at Duke, high school player, 17 years old still, has been invited to be on the select team that's going to play against the Olympics to get them ready. And I guess in like a week or so, in Vegas. Cooper Flagg, let me say this. Cooper Flagg is why the Brooklyn Nets had a yard sale. They want this kid so bad. And I'm going to say this. And people get all bent out of shape. But no. Listen. Cooper Flagg coming into the NBA, I think that he's going to be the most decorated white player since Larry Bird. And people might say, Red, what does his color matter? It matters because he's really good, right? He's really good. And one of the things that I hate, hate's a strong word. One of the things that rubs me the wrong way, it's like when I was a kid, and I didn't really understand baseball or not sports, but when I turned the television on and I saw those clips of Willie Mays playing stickball in Harlem, I got excited because I could relate to him because he looked like me. And I played stickball at Michelle Park when I was a kid. People applauded that, to see people rise up and experience triumph to have success. Why is that different for little white kids? Why? When everybody and their mom is saying, well, no, you can't do this. and you just want to be a basketball player. Why can't you have heroes that you relate to that, be A, number one, because you like how they play, but they look like you? What's wrong with that? Nothing's wrong with it. Nothing at all. And I think Cooper Flagg, like Larry Bird, like Magic Johnson, they're only going to make the NBA better, for generations to come. Now, a lot could happen. He could lose interest. He could get injured. We don't know. Sam Bowie. All these things could happen. But just from a talent perspective, this dude has it all. And I know some people are probably saying, well, what about Luka, Red? There's certain aspects of the American United States existence that Luka doesn't get. He doesn't get. Like not running back on defense, crying to referees. As soon as the season's over, he goes home to his country. There's nothing wrong with that. Cooper Flagg was born in Maine. I guess he was born in Maine. Everybody knows this kid has a chance, to be like on some Caitlin Clark type stuff. He's really good. When you look at Duke, who's the best forward ever to play at Duke? Grant Hill? If you haven't seen this kid play, watch him. Spectacular. AB, what did Oubre get? If you know. Cooper Flagg colors just as much as if Podziemski hype. White Americans just don't have that many players of their own to cheer for. That's all. A little different. Because I think that Podziemski is overhyped. And you can't. What takes place on the court doesn't need hype. And I'm just giving you somewhat of a diagnostic of Cooper Flagg. But when he's on the court, I won't be saying anything. I'll just be saying watch. You know what I'm saying? Brandon Podziemski is a good player. But there are other players like him. I haven't seen anybody like Cooper Flagg. 6'9", jumping jack, mid-range, 3-point, dunk on you, alley-oop, play defense. He's 17. Crazy. Damn, Larry Bird, wow. I need to look up this kid. That's saying a lot. Yeah, look him up. And then come back and say, yo, Red, this is what I think. I pride myself on talent evaluation. Do you see the Warriors making any addition this offseason? Yes. What? I really don't know right now. I have to see. I think they need a backup point guard. AB, okay. $18 million for 2 years, $9 million a year. Yeah. That's not a horrible contract. It's probably a player option for year 2, probably. If somebody want to give me $18 million to play basketball, I'm down. Particularly on a good team like Philly, they're going to be good. SG, how well do you think Klay Thompson will perform in LA alongside stars such as LeBron? I think he'd be great. I think he would be great. I think Klay would set LA on fire. I think Klay Thompson he would push LA to, I think, one of the top 4 teams. And they go from there. Agreed about Pods being overhyped. Good player, though. Yeah, solid. We got a long way to go. And I think he was protected last year. You know, it's gonna be a little different this year. But he got a lot of confidence. That dude got more confidence than anybody I've ever seen in my life. That's for sure. And I hope he does well. $16 million for 2 years, Kelly Oubre. I'm not mad at that. I talked a little bit about Isaiah Hartenstein. I think in some respect, Isaiah Hartenstein is going to maybe tip the balance. I mean, I got two teams that I think if he goes to, he's going to really help them. I don't know what their cap spaces are, but OKC, I think they need a center. Chicago and New Orleans. I don't think. Oh, really? AB says, OKC trying to steal Jason Hart from the Knicks? Or is that Hartenstein? Oh, okay, yeah. No, he'd be perfect there. If you're OKC with all those damn picks, right? With all of those picks and some utility guys, the Knicks might be interested. Because, listen, I've been a little light on OKC, unimpressed in the playoffs because of their usage rate by Shea. But if they get Hartenstein, all of a sudden they become not only a solid offensive team, but defensively they're going to be tough. They're going to be really tough. So keep your eye on that. I wonder how much money they can give them. Guess what, y'all? We are approaching almost 2 hours. We got another 3 minutes, and then we're gonna break down. This has been fun, man. This has been fun. Hopefully, when I look at the likes, you guys have blew up the show for me. If you forgot to hit the like button, hit the like button. I really appreciate it. If you don't subscribe to the show, subscribe to it if you like it. You know, we've been on there for almost 2 hours and been pretty steady. As you guys know, we try to be really, really heavy in content. And but at the same time, I don't know every damn thing. So I love it when people can interject new ideas, new topics into the show, and I can learn as well. So that's pretty cool. I love those types of shows. But from a Warriors perspective, I think that people have reason to be a little solemn, if not mad, if not disappointed. A great legend of this franchise apparently is out the door in Klay Thompson. And life goes on. Life goes on for him. Life goes on for the Warriors. It's all about the get back now. So if he's going to be gone, who's going to replace him? Internally, I don't think that there's anything to be real excited about based on the players to replace them. They got good players who are complementary guys, but to expect them to do anything close to what Klay did last year, I think is asking a lot. So that's my take on that. Keith says, hey, Frank, who are your favorite female rappers? Mine are MC Light, Queen Latifah, Salt and Pepper, Missy Elliott. Definitely Light and Queen Latifah. I like Pepper. Salt and Pepper's dope. Right now, I like Che Noir. Rhapsody gets a lot of prestige. She's dope. But Che Noir out of Buffalo, who is down with 38 Special, she's dope, man. I mean, she's really dope. Bahamadia back in the day was somebody who I really liked a lot. Queen Latifah's, Lauryn Hill also. I mean, Lauryn Hill is incredible, dude. What a great rapper. Missy Elliott, I respect her talent, but she was more of a dance, R&B, rap mixture. And Salt and Pepper kind of did their thing and represented it for the ladies. I'm not mad at that. But yeah, love Queen Latifah. Her producer, Mark the 45 King, R.I.P., actually did my first demo. I know you're like, Red, you're crazy. Nah, dude. Mark the 45 King did my first demo. And I used to bounce at Studio 54 back in the day, long time ago. And, I was a young kid. And a guy comes in to Studio 54 and, we chopping it up. I'm like, yo, he's like, who the hell are you? Because I was thinking about playing pro football and some other stuff. Like, yo, I do this, I rap, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yo, let me manage you. My man's a producer. I was like, yeah. So I said, yo, I'll meet you on 54th Street. I'm gonna take you to his crib, blah, blah, blah. Literally met this cat in Manhattan. We drove over to Jersey to Mark the 45 King's house. His studio was in his mom's basement, garage, whatever. Records all over the wall. Did not know who he was at that particular time. And he produced 2 demo records for me, man. So I got a lot of stories. That one is actually true. R.I.P. Mark the 45 King. Great talent. And he was Queen Latifah's primary producer. SG, you should do a 49ers pregame, postgame show. I don't think so. And I mean, listen, the 49ers are so revered and so loved. My boy Larry Krueger got that on lock if he's not doing other stuff. There's so many, and listen, let me tell you something. There's so many good 49er podcasts out there in the ether, and they not only do 49er podcasts and they're on top of stuff, they're fans. They're real fans. I'm not really a fan of the 49ers. I like the 49ers. I want to see them well. I want to see them do well. But that's not my tempo. I don't think so. Jean Grey's dope. Glendocious. Jean Grey is dope. But you don't hear a lot from Jean Grey. I mean, I bought a ton of Jean Grey CDs. Is she still making records right now? Is she? Do you see the words making any trades? Yes, I do. I put that out there. Larry is insane with 49. Oh, yeah. Love Larry, but I've never seen anyone more into the 49ers than him. Yo, dude, it's working. You see how many subscribers Larry has? Larry Krueger. Yo, dude, Larry Krueger has turned this thing into something that nobody, I think, could conceive. He doesn't have like a machine behind him. This dude got 40,000 subscribers. Just doing this. I mean, so salute Larry Krueger. Keep talking 49ers. And it's always different. It's not the same. Even if it's the same topic, he finds a way to make it more interesting. And the people that he's talking to, the guests, one of the things I learned about podcasting with Larry, if you don't know what you're talking about, you will not be on his show. Larry has nothing but experts on the Crew Show. Whatever the sport is, experts. That's how you do it. You know, I don't have a lot of guests on this show. Eventually, I guess I will. But I'm one of the best at just talking. Not many people can do what I do. I've been talking myself for 2 hours. Try that. Try that. Try that. That's big time. But because I have a lot of experience, a lot of practice. I'd love for Frank to do a Warriors post-game show. Yeah, that'd be dope. Locked on Warriors suck. And Cyrus, really? Did not. Whoa. I didn't know that. I like Cyrus. And hopefully he'll be able to recover from that. I love Kruger. I just was agreeing with you about him being there with the 49ers content. Oh yeah, man. You know, but Larry's a real football guy. Larry's a scout. You know, he's actually scouted professionally. Larry and I became friends 20 plus years ago doing a show in San Francisco. I forgot the name of it, but I mean, we've been down for a long, long time. Really good. Ron says Larry's the best. Yeah, he's good. Love Larry. Wasn't hating on Ron. Just meant he definitely loves it. Yeah. Yo, Cyrus is gone. Love side. So he's got his own show now. Very good for him. Good. Nobody works harder than Cyrus. Works his ass off. I admire people who work hard. I'm a big fan of Grease. Okay, I don't know where that came from. Where can I check your music, Frank? Go to Spotify. I'm on Spotify. I'm on YouTube. Pandora, everywhere, man. You just if you just go look up, and I'm gonna post this so you know how it's spelled. Yeah, just go Frank Red. I got 4 songs on Spotify now. You know, I don't do a great job marketing my music, but it's good. People like it. I'm a real rapper. I'm a real artist. I got another joint coming out next month called My First Coach that I'm really excited about. And I'm on that level, dude. I'm really on that level. I would encourage you to give it a listen, check it out, and let me know what you think. My real talent is in writing. I'm a really good writer, but I can rap as well. But I love it, though, man. I'm passionate about it, man. It's not a game. You know, it's something that I really like to do. And the cool thing is it's like a collab with Rick Barry right now. Oh, Cyrus. Okay, Cyrus and Rick Barry. Oh, good. Yeah. Good. I mean, yo, man, support Cyrus, man. Support him. You support those dudes. We're all just working. We're all working, trying to do something that we feel passionate about and that we love. And that's it. And we thank you for tuning in, man. That's really what it's all about. All right. SG, I'm doing some Team USA Olympic basketball streams. You want? We can talk about it. All right, I'm gonna do my thing. Get out of here. Success and getting over. Caitlin who? What's that? Success and getting paid. Is that Caitlin? Well, who is that? Success and getting paid is a manifestation of the whole process. If you as an individual don't do things to help other people make their lives better, as far as I'm concerned, you haven't done nothing. I want to thank everybody tonight for checking out the program. Be on the lookout for another edition of the In the Dungeon program, maybe midweek, as things pick up with the Warriors and free agency and other teams. We'll be on top of it. So look for the notification, and I'll definitely keep you informed on X as well. Before I go, I'm going to promote the show. Hit the like button and subscribe if you have not done so. Follow me on X at Big Frank Red. With that said, good night, everybody. This has been fantastic. Thank you. Peace.